From Brunswick's own Mesa, we are joined by 32-time JBT champ, 3-time national champ, and a 15-time regional champ, Jakob Butturff, the one and only. Hello, Jacob.
Pleasure to be here, Jeff.
Gonna give some comment. You don't gotta be so formal, but that was nice. Gonna give some commentary on the Arizona Invitational title matches. This may or may not be the title game here, as they're the last two bowlers standing. Kyle Duster's got 2 losses. He must win this game against Lucas Rabb. Kyle was the top seed coming in, and that is the second brutal solid 8 he's had to deal with in the last couple games. The last one almost cost him the match against Kyle Gilbert. This one's early, but it costs him a chance to tie up the game. That's just part of the game when you throw 8,000 revs. Occasionally those solid 8s will pop up. Lucas, the last remaining bowler with 1 loss. If Kyle does win this game, they will play 1 more for all the marbles. To the left in the handicap division, this is the semifinal game. 3 bowlers left with 2 losses. Clifford Robbins playing Afton Lords. The winner will play Kendall Balea for the title. That's the scenario as Duster spares up his 8, which means he trails by 10 pins through 3.5 frames. Jacob, what are you seeing out there?
Characteristics of Brunswick Mesa. We bowl on what? Chicken pizza, I believe.
Chicken pizza, yes.
Chicken pizza. So, 40 feet, not like overly difficult, but it's definitely, you know, pair to pair is where these patterns come into play. And, you know, as you saw for some pairs today, like some matches were winning with 160, but some matches were losing with 240. So, yeah. You could definitely see that pair to pair came into play. Not a very tough pattern, but also it's not the easiest of patterns either.
One thing I've said a lot on the videos, and I'd be curious to get your opinion as someone who's seen both JBT in action and PBA in action, is when we lay out these patterns, I think, or my theory is that they actually get tougher here than they do on tour, because when you're going pair to pair here, you're crossing handicap bowlers with low averages that just are, well, honestly spraying the ball all over the place. So they don't, you're not breaking them down as a team here as opposed to on tour where, you know, everybody's knowledgeable and they're trying to break them down into something more playable. Do you see that? Or am I full of it?
I completely agree, Jeff.
Okay, I'm not full of it.
There are some times where there are tour guys that, you know, break them down to their benefit and not so much any other people's benefits. You know, I've seen
Shimrack.
Yeah, we call them out there as Shimrack. You know, you go to a pair where you see a lot of, you know, handicap bowlers, and the tendency is, and scores showed it a little bit, that, you know, if you hit a pair that had a ton of handicap bowlers, you saw a little bit of a struggle, for sure. Lots of scratch bowlers started down here on the low end, and some pairs definitely showed that it was higher scoring on those pairs with the scratch bowlers.
Well, if there's anyone who understands pair to pair at Zone Mesa, it's one of 2 people. The guy 10 inches to my left, or Brett Wolf. Zone Mesa, the house that Brett Wolf built and Jakob Butturff remodeled.
Definitely, and low end typically has seen a little bit of higher scores.
Is that the better scoring pair end here? Well, Duster kind of caught a break there by Lucas not doubling up. That 7th spare in the 4th dropped a little count too, so he's got a chance to jump into the lead, but that's not his best shot there. That was an arrow plus left. Looked like a ball change too, or is he using 2 different balls? So that's tough, because you get these 1-game matches. Now he's got to decide, did that ball just not do what he thought, or did he throw that physically badly and should stick with that ball?
It wasn't the best shot he's made.
That's what I think too. You only get 5 frames per lane to make an educated guess. I know you know that from your TV appearances.
Hey, you know what? Like, it doesn't matter, but if you realize at the end of the day, I experienced it this past weekend. Spares are a huge.
You sure did. Unfortunately, a 9 dashy instead of a slashy cost you a title against one of the greatest ever. But listen, hey, we are so impressed with you, Jacob. Not to you know, butter up the guy talking into the camera, but my goodness, making national title matches left and right.
And we just had one JBT title match back in February, myself and Marshall Kent.
That's right. We love when we see that.
You know, one of the best bowlers to JBT to see up in the Northwest.
I always wonder what, you know, a Marshall or a Cameron Ware would have done if they had happened to have grown up in Phoenix or SoCal.
in my personal opinion, you know, you saw the Cameron Weir, you saw the Marshall Kent, especially with them living in a much more difficult conference to come down and bowl. I see it doubling their, you know, JBT time. So like Marshall won 12 or 13, I believe,
in a tough era. You're right.
And especially with a tough amount of bowlers, I would say that's probably equivalent to about 25 to 30 JBT titles down here in Arizona.
It's very reasonable. Clifford's got to beat Afton by 25, and he's in the lead by, fortunately for Afton, darn near a century over there. So it's going to be Clifford Robbins continuing his red-hot season.
Unfortunate open.
Well, it's the impossible 310, Jacob. Of course it's an open. I hate 310s.
They're very difficult, you know. They say like shooting a 4 pin dead in the face is, well, for me, shooting a 4 pin dead in the face is like sparing a 2-7, but you know.
But it's not though. Difficult. Yeah. You get right on the oil line, and you can. I don't know. I hate them. One of the many reasons I let you guys do the bowling. So Clifford and Kendall going to play for the handicap title over there, and Afton from Utah is going to finish up in third. Snuck into the invite with the top 5 in Kingman, came all the way down here, and
definitely
worked out pretty well.
But, hey, well.
We're going to get to Utah one of these days for an actual event. We have 3 or 4 states we're keying on. Utah is one of them. Another one of them begins with an H, Jacob.
It's a neat trip.
There's a... Thought he was going to get away with it there.
We have a little match going.
Thought he was going to get away with that, and does not. And as a result, he's going to have 142 through 7, which gets Kyle back within 17. So still a glimmer of hope for him, where Lucas could have put the hammer down on him. Talk about the season that Lucas Rav has been having. We've had, you know, the power games get talked about so much, and Harley's incredible season. Well, Lucas has held his own and at times dominated the Arizona Conference.
I've always wanted to make a surprise game.
Can we do
This is literally a cameo. So now we got, what is this, 67 titles sitting right here?
Yeah, we do.
Something along those lines? A heck of a lot.
Cameron probably has more JBT titles than I do.
I believe it's
30s.
Well, you're right in that area. You're in the high 30s. You're in the mid to high 30s over here. It's a heck of a lot. Right now, Kyle wants 18, and if that's going to happen, he's going to have to put some X's together here in the 7th and the 8th. But I want to talk a little bit more about the season Lucas is having too.
This is a big shot.
Got flush. About 3 wins, 2 or 3 wins for Lucas. I forget which. He had a big breakthrough around November, December, and it's just been rock solid ever since. As opposed to the big power games, he has got one of the better fundamental traditional games out here. Really improved too. We'll talk about him when he gets up again. Kyle, of course, famous for switching from two-handed to one-handed to two-handed.
I had the pleasure of going JBT doubles actually with Kyle.
That's right, huh?
Might be actually the same shirt he's wearing right now.
Kyle has been making people eat his words for many, many years. I didn't think it was the best switch ever, and it has obviously paid dividends. Using 2 balls, gets the flush double, and gets himself right back in this match. Trails by only 7, and now he's got the momentum going. Rab has been able to respond in spots like this all season long. He's going to have to do it again. What is going on either side of me? Jacob is cracking up. The peanut gallery over here is going nuts. I never get clued in on all your inside fun stuff.
Duster is supporting the Professional Bowling Association tour as well on the shirt.
Indeed. Thanks for that, Kyle. Now that follow-through was left. Oh, man. Well, he didn't get the break on a kind of an off shot in the 7th. He throws the oppositely bad shot there in the 8th and gets a tremendous break getting that trick.
You know, you get those breaks every now and then, you have to take it.
Absolutely. Every bowler has. Something in his follow-through was wonky in the last 2 shots. I think that's the technical term for it. Watch if he can keep his shoulders still and get that follow-through towards target. That's still all off. It might be the moment getting to him, because those are 3 very un-Lucas Rab-like shots. He's also checking the approaches. It's super humid today. The approaches are different. in different parts of the house. And that's an adjustment that doesn't get talked about a lot, but that is a huge part of the modern game too.
Definitely.
We do. Well, we're just kind of watching this match end and kind of keeping everybody on an even pace. Relax, Clee Ford. I have to see the results of this match first, Clee Ford. Didn't lose any count, but he's got to spare this up, and he does. Go to 5 and 6, but don't start yet. Well, count's going to start to come into play here a little bit too.
Oh no, his Duster needs a big shot here.
By 7 has a chance to take the lead. 9th frame invitational title match, $1,000 on top.
Oh boy.
Body language tells the story.
Sparing is huge at this point.
I don't think he thought that was that bad a ball. If he doesn't spare this, he's got 161 with 9 out, which would put him down 20 and would make life awful tough on him. Capable of making this. I think put his thumb in the ball on this one.
Definitely.
Yep, thumb in, so just an accuracy.
Especially since there's a thumb in.
Yep. Yep, broken pin too. 191 if he can get all 3 in the 10th, and that would be enough to force Lucas to mark. So he's got to take a seat here and mentally regroup. He's had to do this a couple times today when he thought he's been out of matches and have to find a way to mentally stay in it. That's the difference between the people who make money on tour and who don't, right?
Absolutely.
You have every chance of winning this match. A mark is no gimme on this pattern, let alone for $1,000.
Lucas has had a couple of struggles the last couple of times.
Who has been shaky to say the least the last 3 shots. All good points. It all starts with the first strike here. If he doesn't get the next 2 strikes, it's over.
Good shot.
No, no. You live by the power, you die by the power. That's an aggressive ball coming in there sideways, Jacob, and sometimes those middle taps happen, and that is going to be a tournament deciding tap, unfortunate. Well, the 17 chime champ's going to pocket $500, but Lucas Rabb is going to cap off a Bowler of the Year season with an invitational title. I always like that when the guy who's, hung on through 98% of the season gets the last win. One order of business left. Clee Ford Robbins talk about having one heck of a season. We'll try and get the invitational win that he almost captured already this season in a different conference. Right now, Rab's $1,000 richer in his scholarship account. And look out TPC. This is a guy who's flying a little under the radar tour wide, but this kid can play, guys. Look out Vegas. Yeah, buddy. You get a high 5 right now. We'll do the rest later on. Or low, meaning 5. That'd be a great feeling for him. Almost ran the table if it wasn't for that whip forfeit. Are you leaving me?
What? I'm just hanging out.
Okay, good. Because you were here, according to the dry erase board.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. You're making this very hard on me, then.
Tag along,
All right, there we go. Jacob, thank you for the insights. Hopefully we'll talk to you in the handicap match, which is coming up next. Lucas Rabb's your 22nd annual Arizona Invite Scratch champion.